You're in a windowless room on the second floor of a used car dealership on Telegraph Road. The man across the desk has done this 4,000 times. You have done it once. He slides a contract across to you. 42 pages. You are going to sign 11 of them in the next 8 minutes. That's not where this story starts. That's where it ends. 22 months earlier, you needed a car by Monday morning, or you were going to lose your job. You had $213 in your account, a credit score of 611, and no other options. You thought you were solving a problem. 44 million Americans have an auto loan right now. A third of them owe more on their car than it's worth. Most don't know that yet. Most are still making the payment and thinking they're fine. 4 levels, 1 dealership. Math that was never designed to end in your favor. This is how it starts. Level 1, the lot. You are 26. You live in Memphis, Tennessee, in a 1-bedroom off Winchester Road that costs $975 a month and smells like the previous tenant's cigarettes, no matter how many candles you burn. You are a home health aide. You drive to the homes of elderly patients across Shelby County, and you help them bathe, dress, eat, and exist with dignity inside bodies that are failing them. You are good at this. You are genuinely, measurably good at this. And the rate for your classification is $14.20 an hour. And the rate topped out at $14.20 14 months ago, because that is what the county contract pays for your level. Your supervisor, a man named Gerald, who smells like burnt coffee and has never once asked how you are doing, has explained twice that reclassification requires a credentialing exam that Gerald himself has not scheduled and does not appear to be planning to schedule. You take home $2,272 a month. Rent is $975, phone is $85, groceries, utilities, incidentals, roughly $480. That leaves $732. On paper, $732 is breathing room. But the 2014 Chevy Malibu has 118,000 miles on it, and it started making a sound 2 weeks ago that your cousin Marcus described as not a good sound. The check engine light has been on since October. The front right tire has a slow leak you fill every 4 days at the Kroger on Macon Road. The car is not dying dramatically. It is dying the way things die when you cannot afford to stop them. The job is 22 miles from your apartment. There is no bus route that reaches it. There is no version of this job without a car. The math on this is not complicated. You go to the lot on a Saturday in March because the Malibu made a new sound Thursday that Marcus said was actually, yeah, pretty bad. The dealership is on Summer Avenue, 200 flags. A man named Derek meets you at the gate before you have finished parking. Derek is attentive in the specific way of someone whose attentiveness is a professional instrument. He walks you to a 2020 Hyundai Elantra, white, 41,000 miles, clean interior, and the sticker says $18,400. You sit in the driver's seat. The seat adjusts. The screen works. The car smells like nothing, which after 2 years of the Malibu smelling like slow transmission fluid and low-grade dread, smells like a different life. You tell Derek you need low payments. You tell him your credit score is 591. You tell him you can probably do around $400 a month. Derek writes $400 on a notepad, circles it, says, "Let's see what we can do," and disappears for 11 minutes. When he comes back, the payment is $543. You do the math. $543 from 732s leaves 189s for everything that isn't rent and phone and groceries. That is tight, almost not workable. But Derek is explaining the extended warranty, $1,800, and the protection package, $900, and that these are standard on CPO vehicles and bring the total to $21,200 on a 72-month term, and that this is very competitive for your credit profile. 72 months is 6 years. You will be 32 when this loan is paid off. You do not ask about the interest rate. Derek is already on page 3 of the contract, and the Malibu is outside making it sound. And $543 feels survivable, and you are tired. Genuinely bone tired of things falling apart. You sign. The drive home on I-240 is the best you have felt in 4 months. The heat works, the lane assist beeps once, gently, when you drift. You turn the radio up. For approximately 45 minutes, you feel like you have solved something. Level 2, the payment. The interest rate is 18.9%. You find this out 3 weeks later when you set up the online account and see, in small gray text at the top of the screen, the number, 18.9% APR. You search what APR means because no one at the dealership used the phrase. APR is the actual yearly cost of borrowing the money. the total annualized rate of what the loan costs you per year. At 18.9% APR on a $21,200 loan over 72 months, you will pay approximately $17,900 in interest alone. The car that cost $21,200 will cost you $39,100 by the time the last payment clears. You sit with that number for a moment, then you close the tab. Here is what the dealership is legally permitted to do in Tennessee. And in most states, they contact a lender. The lender quotes a rate called the buy rate, which for your credit score was approximately 14%. The dealership is permitted to mark that rate up and keep the difference. The difference between 14% and 18.9% on a $21,200 loan over 72 months is roughly $4,200. That $4,200 went somewhere between Derek's commission, the finance manager's cut, and the dealership's back-end gross profit on your transaction. This practice is legal. It is not disclosed on the contract. You did not know it was happening. The first payment clears in April, $543. You move $50 from groceries and $50 from incidentals to cover it. And you tell yourself this is temporary while you adjust. The second payment clears in May. Loan balance, $20,710. You paid $543, and the balance dropped $490. The third payment clears in June. Balance, $20,215, down another $495. Here is what is happening, though no one explained it. In the early months of this loan, the majority of every payment goes to interest, not to the balance. You can make $543 payments for a full year and still owe almost everything you borrowed. The bank collects most of its profit first. The balance moves slowly on purpose. By August, the $199 buffer is gone. Oil change, $74. Insurance renewed and went up $22 a month on a notice you missed. Gerald has still not scheduled the exam. You are not behind. You want to be clear about this, at least to yourself. You pick up Saturday shifts at a second care facility across town. $13.40 an hour, less than your regular rate. But the check comes separately, and you have designated that check entirely for the car. The shift runs 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. You wake at 5:15. You make the drive. You spend 8 hours helping strangers with the parts of their days they cannot manage alone. And then you drive home. And the drive home is the part of the day where the Elantra is just a car and not a math problem. And you let yourself have that. You drive the Elantra 34 miles round trip to earn $13.40 an hour to make the payment on the same car. In October, 7 months in, you check the balance after the Saturday shift. You have paid $3,801. The balance is $19,980. Of that $3,801, only $1,220 reduced what you owe. The other $2,581 went to interest and left nothing. Seeing it is different from knowing it. You knew, technically, you knew since the night you found the 18.9% and closed the tab. But there is a specific feeling in actually watching $2,581 disappear into a bank and leave no visible mark on the number. Not panic, not exactly anger. More like watching a door close on the other side of a very long room and understanding for the first time that the room was the trap, not the door. Level 3. The equity. It is 14 months in. February. Memphis in February is cold. That moves into the parking garage and stays. The gray that makes every building look like it has been there too long. You are in the Elantra at 5:55 a.m., engine running, waiting for the heat to clear the windshield. You open the lender's app. You have developed the habit of opening it the way some people check the weather when they already know the weather. Loan balance, $18,940. 14 payments, $7,602 paid in. Car's current market value, approximately $13,100. You owe $18,940 on a car worth $13,100. The gap is $5,840. Being underwater means you cannot sell the car, because selling at market value still leaves you owing $5,840 on something you no longer have. You cannot trade it in. Every dealer sees the same number. You cannot refinance because your credit score has slipped to 573 from a late payment in November and the inquiries. The only exit is through the loan. The windshield clears. You drive. The third week of February, Gerald sends a department email. Contract renewal delayed. Reclassification under review pending finalization. No exam date. 14 people in the CC line. The email is constructed so that no one can respond and expect a direct reply. You have been waiting on that exam for 19 months. The number $14.10 has not changed in 19 months. Gerald's email confirms it will not change for at least 3 more. You do the math that evening. 58 payments remaining at $543. Total remaining $31,494. Car's estimated value in 58 months, if nothing goes wrong, maybe $7,000. You are going to pay $31,494 more for a car that will be worth $7,000. You have already paid $7,602. The whole transaction, start to finish, will cost you $39,096 for something worth $7,000. You close the notepad. In March, the Elantra starts pulling left. Not hard, a drift, a lean toward the shoulder, requiring constant correction. You take it to the mechanic on Mendenhall. He puts it on the lift and comes back shaking his head in the way of mechanics who have stopped softening things. Both front struts. The repair is $780. You do not have $780. You put $400 on a credit card opened in November for a balance transfer you have not yet made, and you pay the remaining $380 from savings. Savings is now zero. You pick up the car from Mendenhall and pull onto Summer Avenue, and for the first time in 3 weeks, you are not fighting the wheel, not correcting, not arriving at work with your right forearm tight from the effort of holding the car straight. You park. Engine off. The car drives straight. It is such a small thing, the car doing what a car is supposed to do. But after 3 weeks of fighting it, and 1 day of $780 you did not have, the straightness feels real, like a problem that stays solved, like evidence that maintenance works and the arrangement can survive. 2 weeks later, the transmission starts slipping. A hesitation between second and third. A half second where the engine revs and the car holds its breath. You notice it Tuesday. By Friday, it is every shift. The mechanic on Mendenhall drives it around the block. He does not smile when he gets out. How long you had this car? 2 years in March, you say. Slipping transmission, developing, repair, $2,200 to $3,800. You drive to the Saturday shift because Mr. Earl is waiting. The heat works. The lane assist beeps once, gently, when you drift. The transmission hesitates between second and third. You have paid $12,972. The balance is $16,100. The car is worth $11,200. Underwater by $4,900. Savings at zero. Credit card at $400. Gerald's email sits unanswered. The transmission slips on every shift. The math has already decided. You are still driving. That is the only reason you do not know it yet. Level 4. The auction. The transmission fails on a Wednesday morning in July. On the entrance ramp from Winchester Road to I-240, not a hesitation, a shudder, something giving way, and then nothing. The car rolls to the shoulder. The engine idles. No gear does anything. Rush hour traffic moves past close enough to feel in your chest. The tow is $185. Marcus spots you the $185. The mechanic calls Thursday. Full replacement, $3,400. No payment plans. The dealership offers the same job for $3,900 plus $110 to tow from Mendenhall on a payment plan of $325 a month, which brings your monthly obligations to $868 against a take-home of $2,272. You sit at the kitchen table Thursday night. The cigarette smell is back. You open the notepad. 46 payments remain, $543 each, $24,978 total. Car worth $11,200 today, declining. Repair costs $3,400 you do not have. Without the repair, the car does not move. Without the car, the job is 22 miles down a road with no bus. The math has run out of exits. That is a specific feeling, not panic, something quieter, the feeling of having tried every wall. You call the lender at 8:14 p.m., 22 minutes of hold music. The representative explains, continue, defer one payment with a $75 fee, or voluntarily surrender. Surrender means they sell it at auction and apply the price to your balance. If the price does not cover what you owe, you pay the difference. Gerald sends a department email Monday. Contract finalized. Reclassification exams scheduled for Q4. Q4 starts in October. It is July. You read it in Marcus's car, in the facility parking lot, and feel nothing, which tells you something about where you are. Because 4 months ago, that email would have mattered. And the fact that it doesn't is a measurement of how far you have traveled since March. You defer the payment, $75 fee, 30 days. In 30 days, nothing changes. The car sits at Mendenhall at $45 a day in storage. You did not know about the storage fee until day 19. On August 14th, they take it. The fluorescent tube above window 2 buzzes at the frequency of something 2 years past replacement. You have been sitting in the bolted plastic chair for 11 minutes. The bolts have loosened enough that the whole row shifts when anyone moves. 2 other people are waiting. Neither is looking at anything. The only sounds are the buzzing and the clerk's keyboard and, from somewhere in the back, a phone ringing once and going quiet. The clerk slides the paperwork across. She is not unkind. Vehicle sold at auction, August 12th, $8,400. Outstanding balance at repossession, $16,100. Deficiency balance, $7,700. The car is gone. The debt is not. You still owe $7,700 on something you no longer own. She slides a second sheet. Personal items inventory, phone charger, umbrella, gym bag, broken zipper, work ID lanyard, 1 greeting card, MISC, personal items. Your grandmother sent you that card 2 years ago, the week you bought the Elantra. She is 74. She put 2 $20 bills inside because she wanted to be part of it. She wrote "for your new car" in her handwriting, which is round and careful, the handwriting of someone who was taught that how you write to a person is a form of caring about them. You left the card in the glove box because you kept meaning to bring it inside, and eventually it felt like it belonged there, like a small good thing you were carrying with you. The card has been in this lot for 23 days. The $40 is still inside it. You are still at window 1. You paid $13,572 into this loan. The bank took $5,172 of that in interest. Derek's markup cost you $4,200. That was never mentioned and was never required to be. The lender sold the car for $8,400 and will now pursue $7,700 more. And if you do not arrange repayment within 90 days, it moves to garnishment, taken from your check before you see it, which means Gerald will know, which means $14.20 becomes $14.20 minus whatever the court decides. The tube buzzes. Outside, in the lot, there are rows of cars belonging to people who are going to have mornings like this one. You take the bus now, the 32 to the 50, 2 transfers, 90 minutes each way. You leave at 4:45 a.m. You stand at the stop on Winchester Road in the Memphis dark and you wait. You made $14.20 an hour before you walked onto that lot. You make $14.20 an hour now. The number didn't move. Everything else did.